Okay, I don't know why I can still hear countdown music, but here we are. Okay, there it goes. Finally went away. Okay, welcome to the Real Spiel Postgame show. Louisville basketball had their official senior day, even though it's not the last home game. I kind of get why they did it, but at the same time, I feel like it doesn't have the same feeling, knowing it's not the last time you're going off the court. I mean, one of everybody's favorite Cardinal fans, Alan Thomas, tweeted after the game, "Nobody kissed the bird with Batman in the rain." All sad, the meme. But maybe they got one more chance to do it, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, Louisville gets the win over Georgia Tech, 87-70. Finally we're kind of able to break it open a little bit. I mean, they went on a run there, in the first half. Had them up 20, and then Georgia Tech just seemed to continue to, fight and claw their way. I mean, and that's typical of a team coming off. I think they said it was like 8 straight losses or something crazy.
No.
So I mean, big opportunity to come to the Center trying to knock off a ranked team, and I mean, they definitely tried their hardest, but at the end of the day, Louisville gets the win, thankfully. Me and Trevor Kelsey are going to get into what we liked, what we didn't like, what we think is, the outlook for the rest of the season after seeing this game. Because personally, I'm gonna get your opinion right now. I was a little bit underwhelmed. I wanted us to put them away a little bit quicker than we did and a little bit stronger than we did. But what say you?
Well, first of all, if there's anyone that ever leads the boomer control of swinging their fists at a cloud, it's me. And I'm not really give. I was okay with the senior night thing for starters. It's kind of like come the way of homecoming. It's just like, you know what? It's just, at least it was a home game. It's second to last. The reasoning made sense, even though the Syracuse game, Syracuse should, you would think, maybe bring a decent crowd, but who knows? Because it is on like a Tuesday or whatever.
Well, if Melo shows up.
But yeah, So I mean, yeah, I mean, I was fine with it. It is what it is. I mean, hell, you got like 50 year seniors out there anyway. I mean, whatever. Just let the kids do what they want to do with that. So but that's one of the traditions I'm allowed to. I can let go with. With the game, yeah. I mean, this was kind of a bipolar performance by Louisville. I mean, it was a team that going in after the loss against SMU, we did in the post game, and I said, you know, earmuffs, they need to hate fuck them and take them out and angered like they're just like a bad relationship or there's bad chemistry in the two, but they still like being in bed together type thing, and they showed they could do that in the first half, at least after the first segment and into the second 4 minute segment, but. We'll just throughout the whole game just kind of did the same thing. They'd get up, 15 or 20 at each. I think it was on the 10, 12 minute mark. I thought, this game is over. I mean, aside of us imploding, that there's no way they're coming back. And Georgia Tech, for their credit, did just lay down kind of like NC State did. Ironically, their last victory, Georgia Tech's, was against NC State, I believe. And they show why they're at least going to fight in Louisville, but there was no chance. I mean, Louisville was never really in doubt in this game. Yes, it was kind of a sloppy performance. Statistically, Neely played well. Hadley played well for the third game in a row. 4 out of 5 games he's played really well. The only one being the game he didn't play because of his back. Um, Conwell didn't, looked a little off, but it didn't matter in this game. Fruit played poorly. That was the one really stuck out. I think Ali played much better than he did. Statistically, neither one really going to stick out to you, but I thought Ali played really well in this game. We didn't really need him defensively. So, I mean, Georgia Tech, was 3 of 18 from outside. They didn't shoot the ball that great. They're just not a good basketball team. I mean, and we played kind of a C plus game and still won by 17. We didn't cover, which I didn't surprise me there because I thought 23 was a little too much. But it is what it is. Hopefully now that you can, you get away through the game. You don't, nobody got hurt. It's kind of like a spring game almost in the middle of the season for basketball. And now you look at, Monday night against North Carolina, which is a game that really matters.
Yeah, I mean, North Carolina, to me at least, for I don't want to say morale, but like, it feels like this team shows glimpses of being able to like finally get over that hump of like, okay, we're gonna turn a corner, whatever you want to call it, as far as like just dominating who we're supposed to, looking good every night, at least like on our end, especially offensively, just because that's supposed to be, that is what we're best at. Um, but I believe that this team really needs that North Carolina win, not just Pat Kelsey, for the signature win on his resume, especially here at Louisville. But I think that this team kind of just needs that big like jolt. I feel like it is something that's maybe hanging over their heads a little bit. And at this point in the season, the thing that frustrates me the most is when we shoot ourselves in the foot with, I think we had 17 turnovers.
Yeah, we had
Um,
13 assists, I believe. It was we
Something
did play a
like
little bit.
that.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Uh,
I mean, we moved the ball okay at certain times, but then we
Yeah,
would.
that one play
What
was
we do is
beautiful.
we'd get up 17-20 and roughly, and we did it on 3 different occasions, I believe, in 4 different segments. We'd get up on them, and then we just kind of turn it off, and just kind of be like, just kind of, I don't want to say goof around per se, but just especially defensively, just wasn't even almost trying. It felt like it sometimes. Well, not trying, but just playing lackadaisical and kind of been put themselves in cruise control. And to Georgia Tech's credit, they fight back a little bit and got within 10 or 9 or But I mean, I really did the Conwell three at the end of the half was. I mean, to me, I just kind of like and short of us literally imploding completely. And I mean, we'd had to do it for the entire second half. Was kind of the nail in the coffin at Georgia Tech. I mean, that's you got you fight back even in your first down, you're down by what I think they were down 14 or 15, 16 or something to us in the first half, and they fought back and got within like 9. And then he hits that fadeaway three kind of SMU style against us later in the game, in the last game. But early on in the first half, I thought that was kind of a nail for Georgia Tech. But they still, I mean, they still gave it their shot. But I mean, Louisville's had a tendency, unfortunately, this year of kind of playing with their food, though. I mean, you saw that with the Notre Dame game, and you see that with some other teams that we should probably beat a lot more and
Do you
cover
think
20
that's
point spread.
a
You
problem? Do you
know,
think that's going to bode, well for us in
it can
March?
come
I
back and
mean,
bite you in the ass. It can. I mean, I don't know. I mean, especially if they do this with Miami, but Miami, I wouldn't say is a team that you would quote unquote play with your food with Louisville because they're just as good as Louisville's. But I mean, Syracuse, the what would be the technical senior day in the last game, but I mean that's a team that if you don't just take them seriously, I mean they will bite you. I mean you saw as they did to SMU. SMU was up big in that game against them up in Syracuse, and they just kind of played around with Syracuse, and Syracuse came back and ended up hitting a shot with like 2 seconds left to take the lead and win the game. Now Duke obviously didn't do that to them. They just beat the living shit out of them. And North Carolina played. Whoa, you just made me just have like an acid flashback moment there. Um, and you went mute on me. I can't hear you.
yeah, I don't know what happened. I just had a whole glitch there.
That's all
Forgive.
right. That's all right. It's kind of it's what. It's the best way to describe the game against Georgia Tech. It was
I
it
just
was
tried to
going good.
maximize my screen, and there we go. Louisville's trying to maximize their opportunities, and
A
now they're
little
just
bit of a
playing down to
glitch,
their
and
competition.
we're still good. So yeah, I mean it's a game we'll want to forget, move on, other than it being senior day. So outside of that, hopefully, I'll say. I mean, obviously, Louisville's going to have to play better for 40 minutes because they played well in stretches in this game. They just turned it off
For
at some point.
stretches, I mean, and
Yeah,
we're talking
but
about
they're
not
going to have to
moving the
play better than that
ball.
at North Carolina.
Yeah, we're talking
North
about not
Carolina
moving.
played well tonight or
Yeah,
today.
we're talking about not moving the ball, but like on that one play, which is probably my favorite play of the game, it was a little fake dribble handoff action they ran with Ali, and he attacked and then got it to McNeely. McNeely got it to Hadley, and then Hadley put it back to Ali for the three. It was the only three he hit in the game. I think that there were 6 passes on that one play. So there are definitely flashes, of just some, and we've seen it
Well, I
all
mean,
season, just some elite, offensive play and some ball sharing from the team. But it's just like I feel like against a team as bad as Georgia Tech, like you normally when we have fewer assists than turnovers, we haven't won the game. Like that's been kind of a common thread in most of our losses is we have had more turnovers than assists, and a lot of these are just careless, like unforced turnovers. And so those type of things are what really get frustrating because it's not like even the defense is just just they're playing so well and they're forcing turnovers and they're doing this. It's Louisville just inexplicably is throwing the ball way too high on a pass and it's sailing out of bounds or dribbling
hey,
off their
Rogers caught
foot,
one of
what
those
have
though.
you. He did. He got up. He's
Like
athletic. He can really
got to
jump.
get him a receiver job, maybe.
Do
Jeff
you
Brom
see
missed
the
out. Jeff Brom missed out on George Fant when he was at Western Kentucky to play football. As maybe give Kobe Rogers out there playing a little wide receiver.
maybe I doubt he's got another
Maybe
year. I mean,
we can
unless his
find a way.
maybe nowadays. Do you think though? I kind of obviously outside of Michael, he had a really good game, but Javon
Mm.
Hadley, he was 1 for 5 from three, but 6 for 11 overall, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, only 1 turnover. I noticed in the game that when he went out, things kind of spiraled a little bit, and then he came back in, and immediately Michael hit him on a nice, pick and roll to the basket for a layup. I think Hadley is one of those guys that could really be once we get into like the ACC tournament and then we get into even the final stretch of the season because you just mentioned North Carolina we all know, but then Miami. Miami is a damn good team.
Yeah,
Regardless
Miami's
of
playing
their
well.
record. I mean, they've had a couple losses that you maybe think, they could have won. Because they came out the gate really, really hot. I think they started the season like 8-0 or 10-0 or something. I mean, they came out blazing this year. First year coach Jai Lucas, but I think that game at Miami is going to be a nice capper for the season going into the tournament because they're going to play really physical and really tough. And I think they have a combination of that physicality and that toughness and that, the front court type of play, but also they have some guards that are kind of starting to get hot now that can score, that can shoot, that can really, get to the basket and things. So, I mean, Miami on any given day, I feel like could beat anybody. And I feel the same way about Louisville, but I think that we're going to have to. I think UNC, obviously, we're not going to look over them, but I think whether or not we have to face Caleb Williams is going to play a big part in that too. Not just winning against UNC, but being better prepared for the rest of the season for some of the big men we're going to face. Because if we don't play him, I feel like I kind of want him to play because I kind of want that test. But how do you feel about that?
I'd be, yeah. I mean, and what you said about Hadley, like I mentioned, yeah. Other than the back game where he had to leave, I mean, he's been. I think it'd be that he's 4 out of 5. He scored more than 14 points a game, and all those, including the 22 in the SMU game, and or not the SMU game, the Baylor game, and he had 14 SMU, and then whatever he had, I think 17 today. So, yeah, he's been I think been playing well. I mean, especially with the I mean, I've always been a fan of Hadley. Just we just got to watch out for matchups with him. But we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it, when in certain games. But even at 6'6", he plays as well as anybody. It's 6'8", 6'9", and he's just as strong. He's just a man. He's a 50-year guy, or he's like 24 years old, so he's just a dude out there, and he's a perfect role guy, I think, and he does for this team especially. Um, North Carolina, yeah, okay. Well, I'd be okay. I mean, I'd be fine if he played. It doesn't, there's a good chance we may see them again in the ACC tournament. So at that point, he would probably play as well. At least then, you would assume if he didn't play on Monday, which I don't know if he is or not. I mean, they looked good. They went into Syracuse and beat Syracuse today, so and covered, but the spread was only 1.5. Uh, so it'd be. I mean, it's always never easy going into wine and cheese country in Chapel Hill. And with Miami, you're right. I mean, look, Virginia didn't take them seriously today and was down for most of that game. They came back and won by 3, but Miami had them kind of look like dead to rights for a lot of that game. And Virginia was able to come back. I didn't get a chance to watch a little bit of their comeback, but I mean, I saw when Miami was playing them and they was playing well. And I watched Miami against Virginia Tech the other night and they looked real good. So that game does worry me. That game worries me a lot. It also worries me that I remember watching Jay Lucas play in high school, and now he's the head coach of a college basketball team. That also worries me as well, but for different reasons in life.
Yeah, like I said, I think that we have regardless of if we're favored in the rest of the games or Caleb Wilson plays or not. I think this team, Michael's been back about. I think he just hit the month mark. Like in a few days, it'll be like officially a month since he's returned from injury. And it's really these last like 5 games today, 6 game that he's really picked it up. Um, but at this point in the season, it's kind of like they say you are who you are. It's difficult whenever though I feel like your best players just barely hit his groove. It's kind of hard for me to be like, okay, I'm capping this team at a second weekend or at a first round loss again, to some people or what have you. But I think that the stretch of this season is going to tell us a lot because again, we're playing a lot of teams that regardless of record, regardless of how any injuries or anything they have right now, we're playing some teams that are gonna get physical with us, that are gonna got some quick guards, that are gonna get up in you defensively, that are gonna force you to be strong with the ball, and we've seen especially today was another example that we're careless with the ball sometimes, and
Yeah.
when you're especially when you go up against teams like that. I mean we've seen it all year. It's kind of regardless of even if Frew plays well or doesn't play well or whatever. We're limited in certain areas, especially when it comes to length and athleticism. And so I think that those type of teams, like they have all year, they've kind of got a blueprint for how to attack us. But in my opinion, and you can say whether you agree with me or not, I think we should be not all game, not the entire game, but I think we should be pressing and trapping every game.
I do like when we do it sometimes, even if it's just to speed up the ball. You're not even trying to get really a turnover, but just kind of get the team just kind of out of their comfort zone. That is something Patino has always been an expert at doing. Um, so yeah, I would definitely be okay with that, especially the way we rotate with the amount of rotation we use at the guards and it's just in general. I mean, we go, 12 deep. I mean, 11 deep, 10
Yeah.
deep. So I mean, as I've said, I mean, we're giving guys, a couple minutes here and there throughout this regular season for which will be cut down, I think, dramatically when we get into March and into the tournament play, ACC and NCAA. But for now, yeah, I mean, I would like to see. I don't know if the whole game. I don't know if I really want to go like a whole 40 minutes of hell,
Oh
type
yeah, for
Arkansas
sure.
run,
Yeah, no.
but no, be like Nolan Richardson out there. Not that I have anything against Nolan Richardson. That was a great coach, but Tulsa and Arkansas. But I would like to see a little bit more of it, kind of speed up. But I mean, on the other side though, is that when you can beat the press, we don't have a big man as a shot blocker to kind of guard that back line, or one that really can stop the ball, or really actually not give foul without giving up a basket. All those check marks, unfortunately, and that includes Farouk. Who, I mean, Farouk's I mean, I know I'm not jumping off the Farouk crew. He didn't play. I don't say he didn't play well today because he didn't, but he was at least he failed doing what he should be doing. I don't know if that's a
That's one way to look
positive.
at it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good thing. I mean, but I mean, it's like, but that's because he was aggressive. He obviously got rejected a couple times. I don't know. Even Mike Trubisky pointed out, which is not good when he can see it. In the play where he just kind of stood down there with the ball and ran to the basket and had like 3-6-2 guys around him, still passed it out, which was kind of bizarre. He felt he felt like he was off his game, but he was off his game. If that makes sense. And I thought Ali again. Neither of their stats really looked any better than the other, honestly. But I thought Ali, when he was in there, particularly played just a lot better. And I just thought we looked. We didn't play great defensively with either one of them in there. So the fact that we looked better offensively in this situation, this game for Ali was, I thought, you know, was the best play. And I think he did play about as many minutes. If you count Z-Man's few, 5 minutes here that you add that to, if you just add that to Ali, I think that puts him about even with Farouk for this game, which is more than he usually plays. So
Yeah, I mean, and I think Ali did a pretty good job. Considering especially in the second half, they really started attacking him downhill. Their guards really started just trying to get to the basket and throw their body into somebody. It seemed like, but I just really think that at this point, I wish I could say that I was more confident that we weren't gonna do something silly like turn the ball over or check a three early in the shot clock.
but
Just
did you ever
little
worry during the
things like
game that Louisville
that.
was even going to lose? I mean, at any point did you feel like we might
No,
lose
I
this
never
game?
thought we were gonna lose,
Okay.
but I wish it's such a mixed bag because there's every game, especially when we were on a 5 game winning streak, and then you drop the game to SMU, and you come back, you end up winning by 17 today. But I think that, like I said at the beginning, we've kind of been waiting for them to get over that proverbial hump where we can finally stop saying we're seeing flashes or they played well in spurts, and I'm starting to believe and think and feel. I mean, because I've been a Louisville fan for 20 plus years. I mean, since I was like 10 years old, I started watching it seriously. And I I think no matter who the coach is, no matter who the players are on the team, no matter what the year is, NIL or not, I feel like Louisville basketball is just like destined to be this frustrating team that always lets them, like, I feel like year over year there's been teams, the most beloved teams, Final Four teams, championship teams, like that 2013 championship team had no business going on that 3 game losing streak that they went on, right? Like, we all know that. We all know they had no business going on that 3 game losing streak, and we all remember how frustrated we were when that happened. So that's kind of how I feel this season, is because I watch some of these games where we just absolutely put on offensive clinics. I watch games where it looks like our front court has finally found something and stepped up. I watch games where McNeely plays really good defense and he's physical and he rebounds. I watch games where Michael hits every shot in the book, and it's still just, then we let Georgia Tech cut it from 20-9. And it's like, what is going on? So I don't know. I just feel like we've always, I've said so many times over my time as a Louisville basketball fan, we're a second half team. Don't worry, we're a second half team, or some variation of that, or what have you. So I don't know. I don't know if maybe I've just come to a point of acceptance with the fact that Louisville basketball is always going to be frustrating no matter how good they are. But again, maybe it's because of how good we know they can be. That's why it's so frustrating.
Just a reminder, 1976.
Mm,
That was the last time a team went the entire season, including tournament, without losing a game. There's losses that happen. I mean, it's
yeah.
sports. You're gonna have to take the crookeds with the straights. One of my favorite phrases from a very great movie called Fences, with starring Denzel Washington, based on the Albert Wilson book. August Wilson book. Alfred Wilson. I'm switching him up with Albert Brooks, I think. Two completely different men, but not the point. Point is that I don't have one. The second point is that I mean, yeah, this it's all gonna. I think Mikel's playing well, which is what we need, and obviously going to have. And yeah, it's kind of frustrating to have a ho hum game against a team that you should have beaten probably about 30 or 40 or or maybe in that area. But give a little good credit to Georgia Tech for not bowing it down, and Louisville, yeah, should there were sloppy things to overlook in this game, but this was kind of like the SMU game where we played well. They just played better. That we didn't play that great, but we didn't have to.
Yeah, and
I mean, and
that's I think.
that's
Sorry, I was going to say
no,
that's
you're
what I think
fine.
gets people like worried about. Okay, well, not only have we seen this year against quote unquote good teams where we're not able to put it together, and then it kind of manifests against a team that you feel like you should beat by 30, 40, like you said, and you only end up winning by
That's
17.
yeah. I mean, no, that's what I'm more concerned about is against the teams that are better than us. I know we've seen Pat Kelsey's not going to traditionally. Yes, I know we lost to Stanford, who's not as good as we are, but
That's
traditionally
probably
he's
the
not
only
going to
game
really.
this year I feel like we quote unquote shouldn't have lost,
Yeah,
in my
and
opinion.
and last year I think we won almost each and every game that were would be considered 50-50 games because we're a better team this year, so we have less 50-50 games, and we have, with the exception of really I think against Stanford off the top of my head, we haven't lost to. Now maybe we didn't beat the teams we should have beaten them the way they did, but we still beat them nonetheless. I want to see it. North Carolina is not at Duke level, but it's I mean they're Arkansas-ish, and we look like shit against Arkansas. They're Tennessee-ish, and we look like Tennessee. We look like shit against Tennessee. I don't know. They probably are. Tennessee looked good
I don't know
today
if they're
though.
Tennessee-ish. I feel like they're a little more guard and wing oriented. I'll
Well,
say
in terms
wing
of level of
oriented.
talent, and and
Oh,
and
okay,
we're
okay. I
and
got you. I
we're
got you.
and they're not. If you want to argue and tell me North Carolina has more talent than Louisville, that's fine. But the argument gap is not very big. I mean, it's not something I'm going to fit into a shirt. That's for sure. It's not like arguing between Georgia Tech and Louisville. So Louisville, it being on the fact this is a game. I mean, I just kind of want to put this game in review because and I didn't want to overlook it to begin with. Maybe Louisville was a little bit overlooking it as well because the North Carolina game is just a much bigger game, even if they aren't, they're not Duke is from that state, but it's still a road game and one Louisville, I mean, really needs to win. I mean, just this is an important game for the Cardinals, and so that's the game. And Louisville needs to play better than they did today. But I think honestly, if they play as well as they did against SMU, and because I don't think North Carolina's as good as offensively as SMU is, then they're going to get a win in Chapel Hill. And North Carolina is not, again, I'm not saying they suck, but
They're not
they are
world
vulnerable
beaters by
enough to
any
beat.
means.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
even with Caleb Wilson playing, honestly, I like Wilson. He's a good young player, but I mean, he reminds me of Marvin Williams a little bit from back in their '05 team or '06 team, whatever it was. And '05 team, yeah, the freshman that, I mean, you'll see the potential there, but he's still very raw. So
Yeah.
and I think Mikel Brown is more polished, especially in a guards game, which is college basketball. We'll need a big game out of him, and if not Conwell. And let's say, and for all the shit he's been taking, I mean, we should give flowers. I'm sure he got him because he's a senior anyway.
Yeah.
To McNeely because he played. This was the game where, like I said last
He
post
didn't
game,
miss a shot today. He
sometimes,
was 4 for 4.
yeah. I mean, this was the game where his offense was made the juice worth the squeeze to have him out there playing defense, and he
And
played
he
well
played pretty well.
offensively.
He played pretty
Yeah,
good defense
played a
today as
good
well.
game.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
this was a good matchup for him because Georgia Tech's not great.
yeah, he went 4 for 4 for 14 points.
Yeah.
2 rebounds. He was 3 for 3 from the line. We shot 19 of 20 from the free throw line today. The only miss coming from Ali Khalifa went 1 of 2.
I'm
So
telling you, for anybody just looks at the stat sheet and here's anybody playing being down on the way Louisville played, even though they didn't cover 17 to 23. I mean, you'd have to be you'd almost think we're insane because you didn't watch the game, but it just didn't feel because I mean, defensively we can complain. Yet they shot like 3 of 18 from three. Now they did have
yeah,
a lot of open looks they couldn't hit. And shot what like 44%, I think. 40. I know it's not
46. Yeah. Well,
46.
see, on that note,
Was
you
it
talking about
46?
the
Really? I
threes.
thought it was lower than that, but
They
okay.
shot
I'll take the
28 for 61 for 46%. But on that note of talking about a lot of open threes,
Still not bad.
they had 10 offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
And a lot of those threes those open looks that you're speaking of came off of those offensive rebounds. We also, off those 17 turnovers that we had, we gave up a lot of open opportunities in that regard. But I honestly feel like we did a pretty good job because, in all honesty, even though we had 18 turnovers, sorry, they had 17. They only had 4 fast break points. So, we did get turnovers, but thankfully either they missed or I did see a few times, like even that one time, I think it was Michael got called for a foul on a fast break. I don't even think it was a foul. I feel like he got the
I
ball,
think.
but
I hope you're not thinking about the flagrant foul because
no, no, no,
he's
no, 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 no. No,
okay.
it was later on. I think it was their big man who, honestly, if he ain't going
Okay.
to the draft, send him on over, number 11 in Gongba or whatever his name is.
Yeah, he's
Get
soft.
him in
Go
a
ahead.
Louisville jersey next year. I need him back there blocking shots. But no, I think it was him. He was going to go for a run out, and Michael was back there and swiped, and it was a little bit of a late whistle, I felt like. The ball went like way up in the air and came down, and I was like, they called a foul on that. But yeah, so I mean, there were some plays where we definitely got back. But again, it's Georgia Tech, so you take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, I mean, I think we've said about all there is to say. Like you mentioned it as very, very ho hum, pedestrian, whatever you want to say. Which again, you could say it's disappointing at this point in the year, but then you could also say college basketball has been insane this year. Even though it is late February, there was just like 6 ranked teams that lost last week. Um, to teams that honestly some of them had no business losing to. So I think that there's just a lot more parity in college basketball now. There's more
Yeah.
talent, especially in this freshman class everybody's been talking about. But like obviously now there's grown men playing basketball, so there's a little bit of a disparity sometimes. But for the most part, in the Power Four conferences, anybody can beat anybody on even any given night. So I think that obviously we've talked a lot about this last stretch, but then we've got UNC next up. So I really hope that maybe today the players were looking past Georgia Tech a little bit, thinking about that North Carolina game. Maybe that's going to be, if you can go in there and get that win, maybe that's going to be some sort of monkey off your back. Like, you know what? Got that ranked win on the road, against a good team, a team that beat Duke. I mean, I think that could be something to definitely try to build on, to finish the season. And then, you got Miami, like I said, that's going to be a tough test. I mean, Shelton Henderson, Malik Renew, we know him well from playing against him at Indiana. I mean, they've got some players down there. And they're going to be physical, and, we're going to have the kind of worst nightmare matchup a couple times coming down the pike here. So, hopefully you can take care of business against Syracuse and do what you need to do in that regard. But yeah, I wanted to, before we get out of here, we've been in here about 33 minutes. I think that today you saw Cincinnati beat Kansas in Kansas. Holy resume boost.
Yeah, I mean it's good for obviously good for us. I didn't get a chance to watch the game. I did was awfully surprised by it. I think Kansas was I think I was close to double digit favorites in that game, and I didn't touch it. But yeah, it was an odd one for Kansas. I mean, they don't normally obviously lose in Fog Allen. I think it was I don't know, I didn't see the stat, but I'm sure it's the large one in terms of versus unranked teams. And I mean, we've seen Cincinnati. I mean, when Miller, Miller's in great one-on-one trouble. I didn't see the stat sheet, so but I assume he had a good game. because otherwise I can't imagine how they won. But nonetheless, it's great for Louisville, right? Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's a travel. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I've got Arkansas, and Missouri on
Oh,
as
you're
well.
good. You're good.
I'm multitasking, so over here. But it's a good win for. I mean, anything makes Louisville look better. The only time, I mean,
Right.
that makes Kentucky Auburn tough for me tonight because I want Louisville's resume to look better, but I hate Kentucky.
Yeah, I
So
never want them to win.
talk about Sophie's choice over here in my life.
It
I mean,
it
it's not
kills it
easy.
kills me when people like, even growing up, when people would be like, "Well, Louisville lost in the tournament, so now I'm just rooting for Kentucky." Like, ew, gag me with a spoon.
I'm also anti-conference fan. I'm not the I don't I hate the well we didn't win it but somebody in the SEC or somebody in the ACC did. No, fuck the rest of the conference. I don't like the
The
rest of my
only
conference.
time, the only time that
Yeah.
I'll sometimes, like, I'll toot the horn is if they've been talking junk, like especially last year, whenever, obviously the ACC was pretty bad last year, at least during the, the regular and conference season. But obviously they, in the tournament, they did pretty well. And even a couple years ago when NC State made that Final Four run, everybody that year was talking junk about the ACC, and then they ended up going far in the tournament. So that's the only time I'll be like, oh, you're talking about the ACC, but look at the teams that made it. So obviously when it works for me, I'll run my mouth a little bit.
No,
But
I don't
yeah,
root for them. In fact, the way the SEC team brags about their conference more than any other conference, it feels like, but me, it's just because of where we live, and I see that. And you don't have a Pac-12 anymore, so it's,
yeah,
you
that's
know.
crazy. I still be looking at UCLA and stuff and seeing the Big Ten.
No
What is it?
balls.
The Big Ten logo? Are they in the Big Ten now? UCLA.
Who's that?
UCLA. They're in the Big Ten, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. I got the dog
I
in here
see that.
tonight too.
Aw, sweetie.
She's cold. She's been outside barking at people. I'm likely you couldn't hear that part, but
Oh yeah. Well,
uh,
unlike my dog that one night, my goodness.
if she was inside, you'd hear it. But I could hear them out in the backyard. I can use you words that being a mean dog.
Hey, well,
Okay, go on, babe. Got finished.
hopefully, don't worry, he's about to get done. Yeah,
It's supper time for them. They know it.
oh,
She's looking at the food.
I bet they're ready for that. My dog is a bottomless pit.
Oh,
uh,
God.
all dogs, honestly, it's like, how are you still eating? Um, but yeah, I'm obviously, we're at the point in the year where you're glad to get wins. I mean, regardless, the competition level. And sometimes, you look at the other side of that coin. This is a game Louisville absolutely could not have as an L on their resume,
No, no, no.
And I feel like, like last year we lost to them. We lost to them last year. I think we were on a 10-game win streak going for our 11th, and we lost. And honestly, last year we had no business losing to them, for real. Um,
No, we were
so
still better than them last year
oh
too. And
yeah, for
honestly,
sure.
I'll be 100% honest. I do not remember that game. I guess it's kind of like
It was at Georgia Tech.
it's like one of those games. I
It
guess
was
like in your
awful.
childhood when the weird uncle comes to visit, you forget about those nights. But
Just block it
yeah,
out.
just blocked it out.
To completely dissociated. Yeah,
But
but
we're also better this year than we were last year and have
yeah, for
even less.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I will say, real quick, just because it was technically senior day. I obviously, every Louisville basketball team I love. I love all the guys on the team. I adopt all of them, but I always have a soft spot for one or two. And Case and Pryor and Javon Hadley, for some reason, I latched onto those guys. So only got one more time to watch them in the Yum, but I'm glad that they got their flowers today. I think Case and Pryor, freaking wish his time would have went different. I wish he could have stayed healthy, because I really think he could have been something special for us, but still a chance for him to contribute this year and down the line, and hopefully be able to make some sort of run in the tournament. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's crazy having these seniors that are only here for 1 or 2 years. I mean, we had obviously Peyton Siva and Russ Smith, two of the most beloved, we're here for 4 years, so it's a little different nowadays, but we, like I said, we love them nonetheless. Um, Thank you for joining me. Thank you for chopping it up with me, as always. Um, Love, like I said, to get the win. Big, 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 big game on tap. Cardinals are going to take on Carolina. When do they take them
It's
on?
Monday, I believe, isn't it?
Big Monday game. Another big
Are we the
Monday
9 or
game.
7 though? I don't know. I don't remember which time slot we got.
Hold on a second. I will look it
I
up.
assume we're probably the 7, but I could be wrong on that one.
Hold on 1 second.
I feel like a Big 12 game usually
7.
is, yeah.
Big Monday, February 23rd at 7.
There's going to be a Big 12. The Big 12, whoever their bigger matchup is going to be over. Yeah, it's going to trump Louisville in North Carolina this year.
But
That's just
ranked
the Big 12,
opponent,
No, yeah,
on the
road
road
game. I mean, this is
a
game Louisville
is this
needs.
a quad 1A? This is a quad 1A for sure, right?
I mean, I don't want to use the overused cliche of must win, but it's a game Louisville needs to win. I mean,
yeah, I feel
they
like it's a
lose
game
the
Pat
game.
Kelsey
They
needs
lose
to
the
win.
game. It's not going to be the end of the world, but they need. It's a game I feel like they should. For just mental capacity, and maybe it's just mine, but I'll be selfish in saying that. It's a game they need to get a win. It's just it's a good win for them, and it can bring them back into the conversation of seeding to where we don't get kind of maybe. I felt like we were still a little screwed last year in the seeding. I thought we should have been a 6.
I think Lenardi
but,
has us on the 5 line right now. So
yeah, which I'm good. But I saw that bracket. I can't remember who put it out. It had us as a 4 or 5. I
and
can't
playing
remember.
like High Point and then Alabama next.
Yeah. And Duke in the Sweet 16. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Thanks for that one I would like to avoid, but we'll see about that in March. Hopefully in the ACC tournament in Charlotte.
Yeah, I think that Pat Kelsey, you're talking about needing this win. I think Pat Kelsey really needs this win too. I think it's you wouldn't admit it, but it's got to be frustrating, to still, not have had this many, bites at the apple so far to get this ranked big, signature win at Louisville, and you haven't got it yet. And I think that he has to understand. I mean, we understand, but he has to understand even more so than we do. This is a golden opportunity. I mean, UNC is just one of those ripe for the picking, to be honest. I mean, you said it earlier. I mean, they're not world beaters. They definitely, obviously they beat Duke. I mean, there's different.
No, they're a good team.
And they are. They're a good team, especially with Caleb Wilson, especially with Henry V. Sarr. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But
Trimble's a solid guard. I mean,
Trimble too. I wanted. Oh my gosh, I wish that was one that I really, really wanted to transfer because I wanted to get him. I think as like a 3-and-D wing. I love me a 3-and-D wing. But yeah, I just think that I think they know it's a big time game. Pat Kelsey obviously knows it's a big time game, and when you have an opportunity like this, once again, especially near the end of your season, whenever your team is hopefully rounding into form and playing its best basketball, here's to hoping they have a great week of practice and Michael stays hot, which I think he will.
Well, they don't get a week; they get a day. I mean, they're probably traveling I guess they travel tomorrow or Monday morning. I assume.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. A great.
Yeah, they'll practice tomorrow and then travel Monday morning.
Great day of practice. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, but I think that Caleb Wilson's probably not going to play. Do you think he's going to play?
I haven't seen anything to say otherwise. So,
I think it's definitely easier if he doesn't play. Yeah. But again, I talked about earlier, would like to have that test. But again, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Trevor, once again, thank you so much for joining me. Could obviously talk to you all day long. Enjoy watching the rest of the slate of college basketball games.
Well, I got Michigan and Duke coming up in about 10 minutes. So I mean, I'm going to watch that. Have flashbacks to my when I was 12 years old watching the Fab Five versus Duke in that game from the Flaky Jakes down on Hurstburn Lane, eating chicken tenders and cheeseburgers that day, and the big thick steak fries they used to serve over there.
That sounds really good, actually.
It does, actually.
No, I miss it. Talking about food.
I'm on a low sodium diet, though. Damn it, I can't. You
can't even. So how good is it to smell it? You just have to do that thing where people like put the food in front of their nose and smell it, and then they take a bite of the salad. You just have to trick your mind, Trevor.
Like now, food's become. I'm like George Costanza. I'm intertwining food and sex because I can't eat the fries, but I can only look at them. It's like I can't get laid, but I can watch porn. It's just like I can't.
My goodness.
My mind is just all fucked up here right now. And Louisville's not covering. The Cats are bouncing with dogs.
Well, we got a quick turnaround. It's going to be more hysteria. Whether Wilson plays or not, I think
I got orange slices, people. That's what I'm eating. Okay, I'm like a 10-year-old
after
playing this game at the Y.
Those little cuties are good. Are good, especially when they're sweet. I hate when I get a sour one. But anyway, hopefully Louisville can get this big win. Pat Kelsey can get this big win. I think it would be huge for the team. Me and you've both talked about.
Yep.
At this point in the season, you want W's on your schedule no matter who you're playing. You play who's in front of you. Congratulations again today to all the seniors. Did they honor Michael? I didn't see him. I don't think I saw him.
I
in
don't
the picture.
think so, especially because he was doing the post-game interview on TV with during what sounded like the ceremony a little bit going on.
I heard, "Hope you had the time."
Yeah, well, because I mean, I think don't you have to play that at every?
Is that song ever going to go out of
2000?
style? It's like vitamin C and 8th grade graduations. As we go.
I mean, I can't. Yeah, I don't even remember what they. I mean, what the go-to song? I guess was just your typical Macho Man, the dun dun dun, that little musical thing that I guess before that. But yeah, you got to play Good Riddance. I mean, and put like pictures of them next to their baby picture on the big.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, all right. Other cliches you can do, but whatever. I mean,
well,
it's
I hope that their last game goes just as well, whether Carmelo's in the building or not. But yeah, one more freaking day, and we got North Carolina. I'm excited for this game. Like I said, whether Wilson plays or not, I love the way Michael's playing. Hopefully he puts on another show. But yeah, big opportunity, and hopefully we see something different than we've seen the rest of the year when we've had these big opportunities, especially on the road. This one, even if they were coming to the it'd still be a big win. But it being on the road, and they're ranked right now. I mean, it's going to be, let's see what their ranking is. I think they're like 16 or something right now, but
they are. They're 16.
Yeah, but we'll see Monday. I think the rankings come out every Monday, right? So we'll see if they're still 16 and we're still 21. We should still be ranked, but yeah. So I mean, the big one, we got another big one next. Kind of had some low level opponents here over recently, but at North Carolina, like I said, whether Caleb Wilson plays or not, it's going to be a big game. So hopefully Cards can get it done and get the win, but they did today once again, and we're glad for that because we just got to keep stacking, hopefully to get a good seed. I'm cool if we stay on the 5 line, but once again, Trevor, thank you for coming and
you're good. I tell you right now, I mean, it's a big game. When it's all said and done, the smoke clears. We got to win a tournament game this year. That's
oh my gosh. I'm trying to not think that far ahead. I just want to get this win at North Carolina. Oh my goodness, I want to get this win. I feel like that would just be so big for this team. But yeah,
with that said, the Righteous Brothers scene in Top Gun just came on, so we're gonna have to end this.
So we're gonna have to end this. Oh, don't worry. All right. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, whether you're on X or YouTube. I don't know if I'm streaming to Twitch. I don't really know if I did that right or not. But yeah, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and go Cards.
Go Cards. You never close your eyes anymore.